welcome back to another episode from Off the Post. In today's video, we'll be discussing Aston Villa beating Bournemouth 1-0. But before that, as always, like, comment, subscribe is very much appreciated. And the recent support in my latest videos have been amazing. I think my last video got about 60 views, so that is absolutely incredible. And a few likes, a few comments, so keep it up, keep all the support, and I do really appreciate it. So let's get straight into the video, shall we? Okay, Aston Villa beating Bournemouth, where do I even begin? Okay, Aston Villa are 2 games away from getting Champions League football next season. Even if we don't get out, we've still qualified for Europe 3 times back to back in three years. And honestly, since Unai Emery has taken over Aston Villa, he has done an amazing job. From taking over from Steven Gerrard, sort of in a relegation scrap in that season, in his last season, it was looking a bit doom and gloom for Aston Villa. Some of the players didn't look like they wanted to be there, whatnot, and it wasn't going Aston Villa's way. But then Unai Emery made those same players absolutely ballers, and they're challenging for top 5 every single season now. So he's sort of, I think it's 17 years on the bounce where he's played in European competitions. He's sort of keeping that record alive. And, another record we've broken in this game is Ollie Watkins being the top goal scorer of Aston Villa in the Premier League. Honestly, this guy is one of my favourite Aston Villa strikers I've ever seen at the club. He can do it all. He's got the pace, he's got the power, he's got decent finishing ability. He's not, I wouldn't say he's very clinical, but I feel like he's definitely improved one in recent years. But it does take him a good 3 or 4 chances to score a goal. But nevertheless, he's a fantastic player, Ollie Watkins, and he definitely deserves to be Aston Villa's top goal scorer. If you think about the goal he scored in this game against Bournemouth, right, Matty Cash wins the ball back, passes it to Morgan Rogers, he plays in a quick little cross, and Ollie Watkins just sniffs out the ball and puts it in the back of the net, gets a slow little touch to parry the ball away from the keeper, and it goes into the near post, or the far post, sorry. And Ollie Watkins is just fantastic at creating those, clear-cut, fine detail chances where he can get those decent goals where the goalkeeper just can't save it, he can't do anything about it. And that's his 16th goal, I'm pretty sure, this season. So from that perspective, Ollie Watkins, he's done brilliant in this game. But before that, right, Aston Villa had a few chances from Asensio, from Kamara as well. Kamara had a header before that, and he really should have beat Kepa, but Kepa did proper good save in this game. To be honest, Aston Villa could have won 2 or 3-0 in this game for the amount of chances Aston Villa created. I think though, if you look at the stats, we only had 3 shots on target, which was a little bit weird. We also didn't have that much possession. I think we only had 34% possession. So from that standpoint, Bournemouth did dominate in certain aspects of the game. And don't get me wrong, Bournemouth, they did create chances of their own through Cliver and Semenyo as well. So realistically, this game could have gone either way, and we could have ended up drawing the game. And there was a few controversial aspects of this game. Obviously, early on in the game as well, Tyrone Mings had that sort of clash with David Brooks, where he sort of elbowed him in the face or whatnot. That was a little bit dangerous from Tyrone Mings, but that sort of got cleared up and nothing got given there. But then later on in the game, sorry, Jacob Ramsey got 2 yellow cards and he got sent off. Honestly, for me, yes, the first yellow card was okay, fine. He sort of loses his head a little bit and he tries to square up to one of the players. I don't know why, but stuff happens in football. The second yellow card, right, was just a little bit weird. Okay, I don't think it was a second yellow card for me. Okay, yes, he does he clips the back of the player's foot or whatever, but come on, it's not that much. I think the referee was very yellow card happy in that game, wasn't he? Giving yellow cards at left, right and centre. And I don't think Jacob Ramsey should have got sent off, because that's a 1-match ban now. And when we've got the likes of Manchester United and Spurs coming up, or it might be the other way around, I can't remember. But when we've got those 2 hard fixtures coming up, even though they haven't been great this season, you got to think to yourself, Jacob Ramsey's a very big player that we're going to miss in that game to bring on, or even start, who knows. But yeah, this game against Bournemouth, it was very much even though we didn't dominate the ball, we were very clinical, and we hold out we held our own to get the 3 points over the line. So from that point of view, Aston Villa were great. Two players that I want to call out who had a great game was Onana and Emi Martinez, because, right, let me just read out one stat from Onana, okay. He got the most duels in this game. He got 10 duels in this game. And I think him and Boubacar Kamara can really build upon that partnership next season, with maybe Tielemans like in that more of a central 10 position maybe next season, if we don't buy anybody in those areas. But yeah, I really do think Onana's going to start coming into his own next season. You know, at the start of the season, he was doing very good, but then he got an injury, and, you know, his form sort of, you know, it was a bit half and half, where one game he played all right, one game he didn't, and, you know, it was a bit tricky for him to get back to form. And then Martinez in this game as well, he got the highest match rating. I think he got 8.7 on FootMob. So, you know, he made a lot of good saves in this game, at least 2 or 3 key saves where, you know, Bournemouth could have scored. You got to think to yourself, that chance with Clive, he should have done a lot better there. Clive, he should have scored a goal really. And then at the end of the game, Semenyo, he probably should have scored as well. So, you know, pulled off some absolute world-class saves, Martinez, and that's a Semenyo chance as well, right? I feel like I think the ball, he shot it across the box, and then the ball went to their striker, like Jedson, I think he's pretty cool. I think he's called Jedson, and I think the ball got cleared off the line by like Matty Cash. So, you know, I think Aston Villa played very well in this game. If you look at Emi Martinez stats on FootMob, you know, he made 4 saves. He's got 3 diving saves, 4 saves inside the box, all this good stuff. So he was our best player, and he did get the highest rating on FootMob. Who got the second highest? Yeah, it was Onana. So yeah, Onana for me, fantastic player. And I think he was worth the price. You know, 50 million is expensive in this day and age, but, you know, I think that's the go-to price now for a good CDM in the Premier League. And obviously, I reckon he's going to build upon next season with Boubacar Kamara if he does stay. But what I want to speak about is 3 players that might have to leave in the summer. Because if you think about it, we had PSR reasons last year. We were about to sell Douglas Luiz to Juventus to sort of make sure we're started in fair play regulations and all that sort of stuff. So I think 3 players that could potentially leave would be Ollie Watkins, Jacob Ramsey and Boubacar Kamara. The first one, Ollie Watkins, because I think he probably would get the most money out of him. You know, he's our star striker, he's our record goal scorer. You know, he gets us the goals. He proves to Unai Emery week in, week out why he should be starting, even though he's had a difficult season, you know, battling out with the likes of John Duran and Marcus Rashford. He's still our star player, our star striker, and I think you probably could get the most money out of him. Secondly, Jacob Ramsey. He's a homegrown player, so that's like pure profit for PSR, sort of financial fair play reasons. You know, he came through the academy, so there's been rumours where he's been linked for a swap deal with Harvey Barnes at Newcastle. For me, I don't really understand that. I think Jacob Ramsey has the higher ceiling at least. I don't know. I feel like they're probably quite level at the moment, current ability, but I feel like Jacob Ramsey has like 1 or 2 more levels to his game where he could reach that. And then the third player, Boubacar Kamara, I think you know, he's out of contract in the summer, so if like a big club offers him a big deal, and, you know, Champions League football, if Aston Villa don't get Champions League in these next 2 games, you know, I feel like Boubacar Kamara could be off as well for PSR reasons. But that's more of a, I don't know if that counts because he'll probably be leaving as a free agent, so I'm not too sure. Like, getting his wage bills off the books counts, I'm not too sure. But yeah, you know, let me just end the video by looking at, you know, other results in the Premier League at the moment. So as we're recording this on Sunday, you know, Man City drew 0-0 with Southampton. Now that is a very shocking result because, you know, Man City love to batter Southampton. Like, I'm thinking 4-0, 5-0, but, you know, Adam Lallana absolutely pulled off a masterclass as one of his first games in charge, I'm pretty sure. So, you know, that is a very key good result for Aston Villa there, because there's 3 teams now on 63 points in Newcastle, Chelsea and Aston Villa. So it's going to go down to the absolute wire, and Aston Villa need to make sure that they win both of the next 2 games and to make sure they qualify for Champions League football. For me, it would be absolutely dreamland to get Champions League football 2 times in a row. But even if we don't, you know, we get Europa League 3 times in a row, absolutely fantastic. I'll tell you that, I'll bite your hand off for that. You know, I haven't seen Aston Villa do this well in my lifetime, okay? That might be a big statement, I know. But, you know, 10 years ago, you know, we were in relegation fights every season. We was in the Championship not long ago as well. So from that perspective, Aston Villa are back to their best. And, you know, I might do a video where I rank Martin O'Neill's team to Unai Emery's team. Maybe that could be a series where I rank each team's best team previously to their current team now, if that makes sense. I don't know. I feel like that could be a good little thing where you sort of like, I don't know, do like a squad builder or something where you build the best players in those 2 teams from 2 different eras. Maybe that could be quite fun. But yeah, let me end the video with some questions, because as of recording this on Sunday morning, you know, Liverpool haven't played, Chelsea haven't played. I don't think Newcastle have played either. So, you know, it's a bit tricky as well, because I feel like I think both Newcastle and Chelsea have a game on hand, Aston Villa. So when you put it in that perspective, I think they are more guaranteed to get those top 5 positions, because I think Aston Villa have only got like 15.5% chance of getting Champions League football over the line. So it's a bit difficult, but I will bite your hand off for you know, Champions League football. When you think back to the start of the season, you know, getting to semi-finals on FA Cup, a quarter-finals of Champions League and Europa League football, fantastic as an Aston Villa fan. And, you know, I'm sure there are absolute Aston Villa fans out there loving this season. You know, those Champions League nights against like Bayern Munich, Celtic, PSG, all these big teams, like honestly, historic clubs, going away to these historic clubs. You couldn't wish for better teams to play against, better players to test yourself against, you know. And even beating PSG in that second leg, I know obviously we did go out on aggregate and whatnot, but we've been living in dreamland, Aston Villa have for the last 3 years since Unai Emery has taken over. And I'm looking forward to, you know, seeing some of the summer transfers Unai Emery might try and bring in next season. So I'm going to be covering all the transfer news. Once the season's over, I'm going to be covering all the transfer news, you know, what's it called? Ranking all these summer signings for like all your teams and whatnot in the Premier League. So make sure to check out those videos in the future. And now I'm going to end the video with some questions, okay? How do you rank Aston Villa's season? Do you think they'll get Champions League football? Is Europa League good enough? Do you think they might sell those 3 players in the summer? And out of those 3 players, who do you think they'll sell? Ollie Watkins, Jacob Ramsey, or Boubacar Kamara? And yeah, those are all my questions. As always, like, comment, subscribe. It's very much appreciated. I do really, you know, the support on these videos recently and all my social media and whatnot, absolutely incredible. I feel like I say this every single episode, but you know, the levels of support I've got on my YouTube channel so far, getting all these views, it really does help out the algorithm and all these sort of stuff. So, you know, all these likes, comments, keep on doing it, keep on pushing me out there, and, you know, trying to get my name on the old, up there with some of the big guys, you know what I mean? Some of the big guys in this YouTube space. So, yeah, as always, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.